StockPulse Commodity Brief. Today's brief brought to you by Amex Exploration. Amex trades in the Toronto Venture Exchange under the symbol AMX.V and has made multiple high-grade gold discoveries in the Abitibi Greenstone Gold District of Quebec, Canada, and has mobilized a third drill at the Perron project as part of a 100,000-meter drill program. Amex also exhibiting at the booth 631 at the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference this upcoming week. Be sure to get an update with the company, so big thanks to Amex Exploration. Okay, Dios Exploration in the news recently. Dios trades as a DOS on the Venture Exchange. They plan to drill in the K2 Gold Copper Silver project directly aboard in the Azimut Elmer property to the west, and they had a big day here with some results a couple days ago. With me now, Marie Jose Girard, President and CEO. Marie Jose, appreciate you spending some time here. Exciting times for you. Going to break the ground. Why don't you run through what's important here and how you see it going?
Okay, well, Dios Exploration has been exploring that area for a few years now, and we have been able over the years to consolidate grounds around the Cali intrusive. The K2 property is bordering the western side of the Azimut Elmer property. We are in the same deformation zone trend, the Opinaca River trend. And we have discovered very high-grade gold in outcrop and gold in soil results. And we are planning to drill what we call the western part, the far west claim, which are inputs representing the Doyon Bousquet mine, the gold-bearing massive sulfide deposit. And whereas on the eastern side of the Cali intrusive, about 7 kilometers more to the east, the drill targets would be more like copper, silver, gold in real dacite dome, a volcanic dome and chimney breccia overlying on the eastern side the Cali intrusive. So we are working all around the southern, eastern, and western side of the Cali intrusive in geological contact with volcanics. And we have electromagnetic surveys and airborne induced polarization results to target the drill targets. Dios has 74 million shares outstanding, has been on the exchange for almost 20 years, was never consolidated, and is led by a high expertise geological team based in Montreal, Canada.
And give us some more exact timing on maybe when we'll get drills going.
Well, we are planning a drilling campaign this spring on the K2 project. A few holes on the western part, which we call WY targets, for meaning west input targets. Inputs being aeromagnetic airborne anomalies, but with few channels. We are looking for gold mineralization associated with fine pyrite or fine sulfides, pyrite, chalcopyrite, or pyrrhotite. So we don't look for major, high, strong inputs anomaly. We look for smaller anomalies, which would indicate occurrence of disseminated sulfides in association with gold. So these are the targets on the western side of the K2 property. And then more to the east, as I mentioned earlier on, it's more like a real dacite, a volcanic dome, a chimney where we have up to 8 grams gold per ton in outcrop and 8% copper and 120 grams gold, 20 grams per ton silver on that area.
Okay, good update there from Marie Jose Girard. She's President and CEO of Dios Exploration, DOS on the venture. And I want to get Allan Laboucan's comments. All right, drilling K2, Al, what excites you about this one?
The news today from DOS falls on the heels of the big news yesterday by AZM Azimut that has a big new discovery in Quebec. They hit over 100 meters of some nice, sweet-looking gold grades, and their stock went from about 50 cents to a high of $1.65 yesterday. And why Dios was prompted to put news out right away is because they've got some important strategic ground right beside that discovery of Azimut. And it didn't take very long for investors to realize what was up, because while AZM was spiking, Dios went from around 6 cents to 12.5 cents yesterday, traded as high as 16 cents today. And so it didn't take long for people to realize that Dios has this key ground. Now, you often, when you have these area plays, you have to be careful about, are they just an area play trying to promote based on closeology? And in this case, I've known Marie Jose for many years because she was very active in diamonds back when I was very active in diamonds as well. And she's a very talented explorationist. So that, gives you one indication that it's not just a closeology play. And then, as she mentioned in the news brief, she talked about some of the structural trends that are associated with both projects, the Azimut, and then they've got the structural extension. And that also they've done some gold and some outcropping sampling and soil sampling that has returned good gold grades. And then they've also done geophysics. So as closeology plays go, this one's hitting the ground running because they are good at exploration, and they've already saw the potential. And now that this Azimut has created so much attention, it's caused them to have attention too. And I think we've got some big things happening in that area immediately around Azimut. And we talked about Azimut in the last quarter of 2019 in one of the commodity brief shows. And now it just goes to show you, sticking with people that are good explorationists like the people at Azimut and now Dios can pay off when things start hitting.
Okay, as mentioned, Azimut right next door there. New discovery yesterday. Run through the highlights of this one.
Yeah, and we picked this company up last fall as well in one of the commodity briefs, as I mentioned earlier, Rob. And they're run by a good group of explorationists. They're funded by, I think, in fact, that's what we talked about, was when they got extended funding by some of the institutions in Quebec. And now it's paying off for the institutions, Azimut and Azimut shareholders. Yesterday, they caught the market's attention in a big way with 102 meters of 3.15 grams per ton over 102 meters, with 10 grams over 20 meters at their Pat 1 prospect in the James Bay region of Quebec. And when they announced that, the stock just immediately went parabolic, straight up from around 50 cents to $1.65. And I really don't blame the market for that. This is in a place where you can get these big discoveries, and Eleanor was one of them in the James Bay lowlands. In fact, they even mentioned Eleanor. That management considers these results to be among the most significant gold exploration results in the James Bay region since 2004 discovery of the Eleanor deposit by Virginia Gold Mines. So that's a pretty big statement. And, if it's coming from your regular riffraff in the junior promotional game, I would have taken it with a grain of salt. But no, these guys know what they're doing. Really strong team, and it's no wonder that the stock went parabolic when they announced that results. It is very, very substantial. It's a brand new discovery, and I think this one is going to have a lot of legs. Today it's down to $1.50, so the high yesterday was $1.67. It closed at $1.50. It's trading at $1.50 right now. When things go parabolic like that, you're often going to see some profit taking. But what I would expect happen is there's going to be a lot of people looking for that profit taking to to position themselves somewhere between $1 and $1.50. I think that's a good spot. I mean, the company only has 58 million shares out, so it's a nice tight deal with a good share structure, and that's always a good combination: a tight share structure and good funding, good project, good results, and you'll see a good spike in the stock. And most importantly, what I think you're going to see is that after the spike happens, I don't expect to see a lot of those gains. Like, I don't expect the stock to fill that gap between $1.50 and 50 cents, go right back down. I think it will retain a lot of those that gain, at least more than 50% of that gain. So that's why I'm looking at $1 and a bit to $1.50 as a good spot for people. If you're lucky enough to be able to get it at $1, I'm probably skeptical about it giving back that much of the gains, but that's sort of the window that I'd be looking at for people that want to take a position in a good new gold discovery in Quebec.
This one hits the mark. Seems like quite often here, Skeena, more results here from Snip, drilling when they're not supposed to be.
Do they ever? And they're doing it at an unexpected time. Today they're up 9 cents to 96 cents. I think originally when we started talking about them on the shows, it was trading around, I want to say about half this price. Why I mean it's unexpected is that they're a golden triangle play, so that during this time of the year, most golden triangle companies are doing nothing. But these guys are able to drill during the winter, and they just keep delivering good results. Just yesterday, they put out 38 meters of 14 grams of gold, 36.85 meters with 14 grams of gold at their SK Creek project. That includes, it's not just gold, it's gold and silver. So they've got like 10 grams of gold and 345 grams of silver over that 36 meter intersection, which gives you that 14 gram gold equivalent number. And it wasn't an isolated hole. They had another 57 meters of 6.6 grams of gold equivalent. That included 2.9 grams of gold and 278 grams of silver. Everywhere where they have the gold, they also have the silver. So it's a really nice combination. There's not a lot of good silver exploration projects out there. And this one, let's say maybe a third of it is the silver contribution that makes it exciting. So it's one that I think you want to look for investors that like high-grade gold like I do, but also some very sweet grades of silver. Make it a nice combination. The company is well financed. They've got 123 million shares out, so you certainly can't call that a tight deal. But I think as they keep putting out these results, they are tightening up the stock, and people are buying it that are looking for, a valuation of a couple hundred, 200-300 million. And this is one that I put into that category of the potential for a $200 to $300 million valuation, especially if we get some nice movement in the price of gold, which I'm expecting. Maybe we can close on a little about the gold chat. SKE is definitely one that you want to be looking at if you want exposure to gold. There's been some recent action in the price of gold, Rob, that I just think we should maybe close this show on, and that is that after we got through that 1600 level, yesterday I put out a tweet that I thought that the gold price had oversold on the sell-off after it popped up there, and sure enough, I think if you look at the timeline of when I said that, I kind of picked it right on the money, and since then it's been up about $15 an ounce. And what I'm seeing, I'm really liking with the price of gold. I mean, A lot of people get excited on the when things pop up, Rob. I think what's more important is what happens after a pop. When it comes back, you want to see it retaining a lot of the gains. And the crucial point that I made that comment yesterday was when I saw it trading right at the last resistance level. In September, we hit around this 1550 number, and then it sold off. I was very bullish about it creating a cup and moving up the right side of that cup, which it did in December, and it moved up very nicely. But then what you want to see is in the handle formation of the cup and handle, you want it to stay at least around the former resistance. So that resistance was back in September at around 1550. It held that support, and then it's popped off of that support. So I think we're seeing a confirmation that this cup and handle bullish trend is intact and is pointing towards gold going much higher here in the first quarter of 2020.
Okay, certainly appreciate that update from Allan Barry Laboucan. That's it for this week's show. If you're a fan of the information, please subscribe to the channel, share the broadcast. Back next week with more informative CEO interviews and news debriefs. Hopefully you can get ahead in your portfolio.